Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is privileges and freedoms. So we'll talk all about it, but we are coming up on election day, and as citizens, we have all kinds of privileges and freedoms that we might take for granted, and we get to explore all of that, and assumptions of our democracy as we progress. And we're going to do this without partisan politics. So that'll be fun. Anyway, before we get started, let's just take a moment to take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs and flowing into your bloodstream and nourishing all your cells and all your organs and bringing life and vitality and health into your whole entire system. And now as you exhale any tension, any stress. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose. This time, hold it and imagine sparkling white light lighting you up, electrifying all those molecules and electrons that make up every cell and every part of you and expand and connect you into the universe beyond. And as you exhale, roll your shoulders and release any stress and any tension. And now let's take a moment to press our palms together and softly, softly, softly rub your fingers against your palms. Feel the tingling and the tickling and the deliciousness of that, and allow yourselves to become present to your physical body and this space right here, right now. Good afternoon, Natalie. Welcome, welcome. And hello, John. Welcome. Great to have you here. And thank you for that. John is sending unconditional love to everyone. That's beautiful. So in the US here, tomorrow is the election. And I have been engaged with some people from other countries through some groups that I'm part of. And this election is being watched very closely, and the impact of it is being felt globally. So just as a reminder, I think, I don't know about you, but for me as a US citizen or resident, I hadn't really been very focused on how this election is impacting the world. And I want to have this conversation without it being about partisan politics, okay? Because whatever side we're on, and unfortunately, it seems like there are separate sides to things, whatever our political leanings, my imagining is that we all are committed to and have conviction about our democracy. And I want to shine the light on the freedoms that we as American citizens anyway, and citizens of other democratic countries around the world, we often take our freedoms and privileges for granted. And we can tend sometimes to believe that it's always going to be this way. And we can get complacent about our role in actively protecting and defending the freedoms and privileges that we have. And so what does that mean? Well, first of all, it means if you have the ability to vote, vote. People have fought and lost their lives to preserve or protect or instate the right and privilege to vote. And I think that that's a place where some people become complacent because they feel like their vote doesn't matter. But your vote is an act of declaration, really, that you're standing up and making your voice count. And there are many ways that we can make our voices count. And one of the things that we talk about a lot in our conversations here is how important it is for everyone to be speaking the voice of your heart and soul. And one of the ways that we get to speak is through our vote. So if you haven't already voted, please vote. And if you're planning on voting tomorrow, make a plan, take water, be dressed warmly, make sure your phone is charged, maybe bring an extra charger, maybe bring a snack. It's likely that there are going to be big lines, even though what I understand is that over 60% of the registered voters have already voted in some states. And there's been a record turnout of early voting, which is no surprise, really, right? Because of COVID, a lot of people that would normally go to the polls personally have put in mail-in ballots and early ballots. So I think that we're in a very, very interesting time. And one of the functions of this time that I've seen is a deep growing factionalism and fear and opposition. And we are one country. We're one world, actually. And we are one country. And we get to stand up for our democracy. So many of us have had the privilege of living in a political environment or a governmental environment where we assume the freedom of speech, we assume the freedom to vote, we assume the freedom to go outside of our houses. And with so many places in the US and globally in lockdown, where people are being restricted to close proximity to their homes. In some cases, they're being restricted, with extremes. What we get to do is to look at our freedoms and our our evaluation of the good of the whole versus the good of the individual. So, when we're looking at lockdown, we see that maybe that's for the good of the whole. When we see mass mandates, maybe that's for the good of the whole, which then can potentially be translating back down to our individual good. It's interesting to me because as I've said, I've been speaking with people in other countries who are facing really severe lockdowns right now. And in this country, we are not, as a general rule. And it's an interesting place to be in terms of assessing where our values are and where our freedoms are and what freedoms we are willing to speak up about. And this transition of power, if it occurs in the US, is something that has been in the news quite a lot, is what is this election going to bring? And there's lots of tremendous anticipation with any election, but with this election more than others. And I've heard it being said that this is the most important election in modern history. And I personally have to admit to having a lot of moments. I'm doing my best to be present, but moments where I've gotten, anxiety has gotten the best of me from moment to moment. And no matter who wins, that the outcome could be very challenging. And there's rumbles of unrest regardless of who wins, and all kinds of possible scenarios. So we're on the verge collectively in this country and also globally, because the US has such an impact. We are on the verge of an important transitional moment, regardless of what the outcome is. It is a transitional moment. And I'm not pretending not to have my own leanings. I do, but that I'm not here to be speaking about partisan politics. I'm here to be speaking about how important our engagement is in order to preserve our democracy. And that means with the election and with the aftermath of the election. And it may mean taking to the streets and in peaceful expression, peaceful protest. So the thing that I am calling for here is, whatever the transition, we do get to speak our voices, and we get to do so in a way that is peaceful and that is powerful. And rioting and looting is not going to serve anybody's agenda. Taking to violence is not in any way going to support the values that we hold as a people, and hopefully as part of the human global family. In these moments when there is so much anticipation and anxiety and separation, I call us all to find a place in our hearts where we can find peace, where we can find conviction, and find ways to bridge our differences. And Christina, welcome. I'm really glad to have you here today. Christina says, moments of anxiety here as well, taking some self-care precautions and trying to hold space for peace, hoping to roll up my sleeves after the election to bring unity as well, love and light. Yes, so this is the time where light workers are called to rise and called to propagate peace. This is where we get to look into the divisions within ourselves and mend those divisions and find a way to connect human to human, heart to heart, and to find a path forward that is a path of unity and unification and collective strength and possibility. And so first, again, tomorrow's the day. And we realize that it's unlikely that we will have results right after the polls close, because there are millions and millions and millions of votes that have been mailed in or through balloting boxes that need to be counted, that are not being counted until tomorrow. So we get to exercise patience and balance and peace, and to forward that in ourselves, in our hearts and our souls, and to forward that to others. And most importantly, to move forward from a place of of principle and peace and connection, and looking at and expressing our highest nature. So I know that tomorrow there will be people that are disappointed at the very least on both sides, either side, and or either party or either candidate, let's say. And this is a call for peace. This is a call for not complacency, but peaceful protest. If you are called to protest, this is a call for peace. You know, this is a call for elevating ourselves and each other together through this time, and to really cherish the privileges of our democracy. One of those privileges is the privilege for peaceful protest. And and our right to vote. And this is a huge, huge thing, because as Americans, all of us, no matter what our leanings, I believe, cherish the notion of government by the people and for the people. And we get to speak in support of a government that is a representative government. And so whatever happens out of this vote, we get to be vigilant and diligent in knowing the truth of the election. You know, there's been so much talk about election fraud. There's been so much talk about hijacking of the election. And we get to be awake and aware and vigilant and peaceful and principled in addressing whatever the outcome may be. And we also, as Christina said, we get to focus on self-care so that we're not freaking out and we're not lost to ourselves in anxiety. We're not cultivating hatred or rage. That we get to find peacefulness within ourselves and take action as we're called to take action. So all I can say is, whatever your allegiance is, please vote. Please use your right as a member of this democracy to cast your vote, to participate in the democracy. And we may be called to participate more actively, to engage more powerfully through peace and principles, and with the eye and intention of connection, and bringing a unity in a country that is so deeply divided right now. And prayers for peace. So what do those prayers look like? What do those prayers look like? They don't look like pleading for peace. They don't look like an anxious cry for peace. What they look like is embodying that peace and radiating that peace outward and seeing it blanket the country and comfort the souls of all of the humans that are here, not only in this country, but in the world, that we may move forward into the world that we envision, the world of possibility, the world of unity, the world of connection and connection with each other and with our planet, and with the consequences of our actions. And so we have the opportunity to choose a direction, and let's choose wisely. And I know that many of you listening now have already voted. I've already voted. There are many, many people who have already voted and who are voting. Please, whoever you are, whatever your beliefs, please vote. This is how we preserve our democracy. And yeah, so that's it for today. Please don't take our privileges for granted. They are fragile. They are fragile, and we have gotten to see how fragile some of our systems are in recent times. So do recognize that we are privileged, and we have benefited from rights that we have not necessarily had to actively speak up to preserve. Now's the time. We get to really cherish our rights and responsibilities as citizens, all of us. And my prayer is for unity. And so I see us walking arm in arm together and speaking heart to heart and communicating across the divides that have been deepening over the past while. So let's shift the tide from separation to connection. No matter who we are, let's come together. And that's it for today. So please go vote. My name is Mira Rubin, and I'm here with you on Enlightened World Network. This is the Core Connection, and I'm here every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I invite you to check out the Enlightened World Network Facebook page for the wonderful community of people who are seeking for unity and for connection. And yeah, so please reach out to each other across the divide so that we create a world where we can flourish together. And on that note, until I see you again, and go vote. Lots and lots of love.